What's your favorite scary movie?
Hello and welcome, fellow film buffs. I'm Zack, and I'm joined by my co-host and fellow cinephile, Hunter Vanalira.
Yo.
We are the box office losers. Each and every week, we deep dive into the movie sphere to watch and review any and all films to ever grace the silver screen. This week and month, we're doing horror movies. But this week in particular, it's Scream.
Hell yeah, dude. The OG meta horror film. Let's go. This is the one that started all the parodies and all the self-awareness, and I love it. I love this film.
I like this. I sat through it. I'm like, 'cause this is my first time actually like watching it not on TV or anything.
It's my first time watching it through 100%. Every once in a while I catch the end or I'll catch the beginning. I think I've seen Drew Barrymore die like 8 times. And I've only seen the movie 100% once. And it was this morning.
I saw it yesterday, last night. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I will say my notes when we get to my notes that I found out that was pretty interesting. But Hunter, do you want to kick us off with this overview?
Yeah, give me a 1 sec to finish up what I was doing. I was writing out my review. Alright, so Scream is an American meta horror media franchise that comprises 4 slasher films and another one coming, and a television series, merchandise, and a video game for the 4th film. They made a video game?
Yo.
Interesting. I'm gonna go find that shit. The film series was created by Kevin Williamson. The first 4 films were directed by Wes Craven. The series stars Neve Campbell, Courteney Cox, and David Arquette. It also has Matthew Lillard, Drew Barrymore, Jamie Kennedy, Skeet Ulrich, and Rose McGowan. The film grossed $608 million worldwide in box offices. Campbell, Cox, and Arquette have appeared in all 5 entries to date as Roger L. Jackson, who voices the various Ghostface killers. The film follows Sidney Prescott and her war against a succession of murderers who adopt the guise of Ghostface to stalk and torment their victims. Sidney receives support from town deputy and later sheriff Dewey Riley, who is her friend's brother, tabloid reporter and writer Gail Weathers, who's a bitch until the last second, and film geek Randy Meeks, who is too smart for his own good, along with various friends, romantic partners, and other acquaintances that change as the series progresses. But we're only talking about the first film, and we'll get more into a lot more stuff on just the first film in the notes section. But the overview, talking about Scream, baby. I don't know if we're ever going to be able to cover all 5, but I want to cover all of them at some point, because I want to watch the new movie in order after we watch all the others. So,
well, like what? Scream 5 is slated for 2022?
Yeah, so we got a year.
We can probably, like, hey, maybe next Spooktober month we'll do a Scream marathon.
Ooh, baby.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring on this part of the notes right now, just before getting into the meat of it. So, David Arquette, who played Dewey Riley, he actually was not slated to originally play Dewey. David Arquette was originally casted for the role of Billy, who was, as we know, is the main killer in the film.
Spoilers.
It's really interesting to hear that, because I watched an interview with David Arquette, and he was like, no, this role is not meant for me. I'm more interested in Dewey. Dewey was originally supposed to be this dumb jock who is now a deputy, and didn't play off that way. He ended up being a goofball. This, in a way, kind of also typecasted David Arquette for future roles down the line.
Yeah, as lovable goofball cops.
Yeah, or just as the lovable goofball, which is, David Arquette is a lovable goofball. If you've seen any interviews with him, he's just a guy who's fun. Yeah, that's my little fun notes for you guys to know.
Before we get into the meat and potatoes of the real notes, which are fun. You know, I've never seen any of the Scream movie except for this one. And like I said, I didn't fully see it until this morning. I just saw bits and pieces. But I watched the entire Scream TV show.
Oh, no.
It's not bad. I swear to God, it's not bad. Season 1 and Season 2 follow the same set of characters, and it's actually kind of good. And then Season 3 follows a whole different set of characters, and they use the classic Ghostface look rather than the revamped Ghostface look. I liked the show. It's on Netflix. I suggest checking it out. But it's not that good. It's just okay.
Yeah, it's I saw it. I'm like, no, I don't want to see this.
Season 1 is really, really good. Season 2 drops it a little bit, but season 3 is just like, because we get a whole bunch of different characters. So
yeah,
season 3 actually plays out more like a slasher film than the first 2 seasons, though, because season 1 and season 2 follow like a conspiracy about the Elephant Man and the main character's mom sleeping with the original Ghostface killer, and then
what the fuck?
Oh, it's fucking crazy, dude.
Okay.
It is crazy. And then season 2 is just this kid gets murdered and his twin brother is getting targeted by Ghostface, who is like revealed to be someone I don't want to spoil, but it's like, what the fuck? Why? It's kind of cool. Season 3 is more of a slasher film. Season 1 and 2 is more of a horror thriller.
Like, didn't that have like Emma Roberts in it, or Emma?
No, it had someone who looks like Emma Roberts though. I forget what her name is, but she looks pretty much like Emma Roberts.
Okay, I was like, yeah, wasn't she in this? It was on MTV, right?
Yeah. It came out around the same time as like the Teen Wolf stuff.
And Vampire Diaries and all of that.
It's basically Scream if it was a CW show. All right, do you want to jump onto our notes, Zachariah?
Yeah.
Hell
Wes
yeah.
Craven reinvented and revitalized the slasher horror genre with this modern horror classic, which managed to be funny, clever, and scary as a fright mask knife maniac stalks high school students in middle class suburbia. Craven is happy to provide both tension and self-parody as the body count mounts, but the victims aren't always the ones you'd expect.
Yo, I was just watching this film with like the whole like comedy clever. It's actually like a legit funny movie. There are a bunch of scenes where Ghostface just keeps getting hit with doors, and I was laughing out loud. There's a scene near the end in like the third act where they're at a house party, and I forget what her name is. The best friend. Who?
She yeah, she threw the beer bottle at his dick.
Oh yeah, that too. But no, she slams the freezer door in his face, and he fucking like does a backflip and lands. There's one where the main character, God, I don't remember anybody's name.
Sidney Prescott.
Yeah, Sidney Prescott's character. She's running away, and he just slams the door. It's so much door slamming in this movie. It's fucking hilarious. And Ghostface just takes it.
I will say the only time I actually had a legit jump scare was at the beginning, and that's when he threw the chair through the back window.
Oh, there were no jump scares for me because I've seen the opening a bunch of times, so I was like,
this was my first time actually legitimately seeing the film.
Mm-hmm.
So like that was the only part that got me, which just like, cause I was focused, and out of nowhere I just see a chair fly through a back window, and I'm like, great, cool. Because
at first you don't think it's a chair, you think it's gonna be him jumping through the window, and you're like, fuck, and then it's just a chair, and you're like, okay. And then there's
and who would have thought Drew Barrymore would not be the lead, and then she dies at the beginning.
Well, that was the point, and that set a new precedent for the meta horror stuff, where it's like you cast someone huge and then they die at the beginning. In the Scream TV show, Bella Thorne is the first victim. It shows her hanging out at her pool. She like gets into her bathing suit and she's hanging out, and all of a sudden she gets a call from her boyfriend and screams, and Ghostface is on the phone, and then she gets fucking beheaded in her hot tub. And that's how they start off the franchise, the TV show. Because they're like, we need someone who people know, who is not too popular because it's MTV, and obviously hot. So they were just like, boom, done. And I was like, what? Yeah. I thought Bella Thorne was the main character. This is crazy. And they do that with a bunch more of the slasher films nowadays, where they introduce you to a character and they're like, just kidding, not them. Like the reboot to Friday the 13th. With Jared Padalecki as the main guy. In the beginning, in the first 10 minutes, it's like a bunch of famous actors you know the faces of, and they all get murdered, and then it jumps to a bunch of new people.
Well, hell, it's like I want to bring up this, like, since I don't know too much about, like, the other half of Scream. This costume is still popular to this day.
Oh, yeah, no.
This Halloween
it's
costume is like 20. What, this movie came out in '96?
I don't think this costume was originally made for the movie. I think the costume was already in stores, and they just took it and went, "We're gonna use this."
It's kind of like the Michael Myers mask. That was a fucking like that was a William Shatner face that just painted white.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like how like when you see certain things like this costume, like this movie came out in '96, I think. Yeah, 96. So it's like 26 years old.
Yeah, no, 16, 14, I don't know. It's old.
It came out in '96, so that was about like 20-something years old, and this costume is still being worn by like people to this day.
Yeah,
I like it.
It's 24. Yeah.
Getting more into the meat and potatoes, I'll continue on with the notes. The first Scream was released in December 20th in 1996 and became the first highest grossing slasher film in the world, second to the Halloween movie that came out last year.
2 years ago.
It was originally came out in 2019, but it was filmed in 2018. I think they had to push it back a few bit. Because of the gun violence shit. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, but it's second behind the most recent Halloween film. That's crazy to think.
Mm-hmm.
The second entry to Scream 2 was released on December 12th, 1997.
A year later.
Pretty much. Which was less than a year after its predecessor. The third installment, Scream 3, was released on February 4th, 2000. And originally it was originally the concluding chapter of the series. 11 years later, the franchise was revitalized with a fourth installment, Scream 4, which was released on April 15th, 2011, and astonishingly TV series, Scream, which followed new characters and settings, aired 3 seasons on MTV and VH1 from 2015 to 2019. A fifth installment with the provisional title Scream 2022 is due to release on January 14th, 2022.
You know what sucks about that release date? January is where films go to die, so I hope this is not one of those films. I hope this is a film that starts off 2022 with a bang. You know what I mean?
It might. Who knows? Hopefully
or
it
they might
does.
just push it back.
Yeah, they might push it to February, or even push it back to December. Let's keep like the consistency of its release dates.
I'd push it up to December 2021. That's what I would do personally, because it's a month earlier. You can definitely get it done a month early if you guys fucking go hammer time. So,
it entered development in 2019 with filmmakers Matt. I'm not even gonna.
Open.
Yep, there you go. Thank you, Hunter, and Tyler Gillette. Signed to direct with Guy Busick and James Vanderbilt writing the screenplay.
The filmmakers, the directors are actually the directors of Ready or Not. So I hope Samara Weaving gets to be in this in some way, shape, or form. I love her.
The original creator, Kevin Williamson, returning as an executive producer. It will be the first film in the series not directed by Wes Craven, who died in the year 2015.
Crazy. We're gonna have the first Scream film not directed by Craven, but this is a pretty good. We got a good set of directors. So,
and also like going off what I heard, we have most of the original cast.
Yeah, we have everybody except for Matthew Lillard, I think.
Well, yeah, because Matthew Lillard died.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying everyone besides... He had
TV dropped on his head.
Yeah, it was everybody besides, like, you know... And also Billy Loomis got shot in the face, so spoilers for when we get to the plot, but...
And he had a phone thrown at him.
You threw a phone at me, you dick!
Did you really call the police? You bet your ass I did.
My mom and dad are gonna be so mad! This film is quotable. Matthew Lillard deserves more than he gets, man.
Oh yeah, he's an underrated character.
He was phenomenal in that film. He's the best character in that film.
Oh yeah, 100%.
He doesn't phone it in. He's fucking 100% Oh, he's so good in that film. I wish he got more stuff going on.
Well, hey,
Besides just being
he will
Shaggy.
forever live in our hearts as Shaggy.
Like Scoob.
Hey, when we get to reviewing that film, he is the best live action Shaggy, hands down.
You think we're gonna review the James Gunn the Scooby-Doo movies?
Yes, we will.
Definitely. That'll be part of our 420 month.
Oh, hell yeah.
Dude, on April, we're going to do all stoner movies. So, like, Pineapple Express. We'll do Paul, maybe.
We'll do Cheech and Chong to do
any Seth Rogen films
classic.
in there. Cheech and Chong. Harold and Kumar. Scooby-Doo.
We might just
for
double
the
up on
James
episodes
Gunn
that day.
We might just do Cheech and Chong 1 and 2 as one episode.
Yeah, if anything, if we have more ideas, we'll probably just double up. Do Friday one episode, Saturday another episode.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Just to, like, double up and get the most out of 420.
420!
All right, continue on with the notes, my friend.
So Williamson's original script for the first movie was bought by Miramax and developed under Dimension Films, label by Bob and Harvey Weinstein, who recruited Craven to direct. Craven in turn recruited composer Marco Beltrami to score the film. This team went on to be involved in every film of the series, though Williamson was forced to take a smaller role in Scream 3 due to his commitment to other projects, with Aaron Krueger replacing him as screenwriter. Krueger also provided uncredited rewrites for Scream 4. Craven ran into conflicts with Motion Pictures Association of America over the series and was forced to reduce the violence in Scream 3 due to the Columbine High School massacre, resulting in increased focus on violence in media. Scream became notable for its use of established and recognizable actors, which was uncommon for slasher films at the time. They basically went, yeah, we're going to use a bunch of famous actors and murder them. That's what that note is.
Yeah.
Because they had David Arquette. Skeet Ulrich was popular at the time because he was like a teen heartthrob. Matthew Lillard was rising up. Drew Barrymore, obviously.
Looks like a young Johnny Depp.
Yeah, I thought it was Johnny Depp at first, and I was sitting there, I was like, is that Johnny Depp? I was like, no, he's in the Nightmare on Elm Street movie. He dies in the bed. I was like, that's fucking Jughead's dad. That's Skeet.
It looks so weird though. Like I'm looking, I'm like, he has like the same like
The
jawline as him.
Yeah, same cheekbone, same jawline.
Yeah.
He's handsome. He's a handsome man.
It's such like I like this film a lot. I'm so sorry. This is like
It's good.
Whenever I get to see a film like for the first time, I get all giddy about it. Because like I go,
was the first time I
so
saw it all the way through, and I was like, this is way better than people said it was. A lot of people said, don't get me wrong, it was great. But I was like, this is like one of the best films I've seen in a while. To be fair, I did not rate it a 10, but it's still a great film.
Hey, neither did I, but I gave it a fair rating.
Yeah, we did both give very fair ratings. Dude, did you see the you got the Freddy Krueger reference in the in the school, right?
Yes, I did. I was like, wait, what?
He's like, hey, what the fuck's wrong with you? And he's like, you talking to me? He's like, no, I'm not talking to you, Fred.
Had the hat, the jacket. I'm like, huh?
Yeah, that was fun. Oh, dude, and Henry Winkler was the principal in this one.
Yes, I forgot to list them off as the cast. I was going through the cast. I'm like, I want to make sure I get like the main people.
Yeah, the main guys, Lillard, Randy, etc. Not Randy, Jamie Kennedy. Yeah. Scream and Scream 2 received critical acclaim, while Scream 3 and 4 received mixed response, with Scream 3 in particular being considered by most critics and fans to be the overall weakest in the franchise. I think that's because they had to drop a lot of the violence that the franchise was known for at the time, because of all the stuff that was going on with the media and the Columbine stuff.
Yes.
So you got to take it with a grain of salt. It could have been better if we didn't have to reduce everything, but it is what it is. They're still all great films, even if some of them aren't as good. It's like Bill and Ted. They're all great, but the second one isn't as good as the others.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no. Bill and Ted 2 was like, it's a good movie, but it's not the best one.
Yeah. Go check out our review on that one if you want to hear our full thoughts.
Yes.
The first film had been credited with revitalizing the horror media genre in the late 1990s by combining a traditional slasher film with horror, characters aware of horror film cliches, and a clever plot. It was one of the highest-grossing films of 1996 and became the highest-grossing slasher film in the world, an honor it held until it was surpassed by 2018's Halloween. Its success was matched by Scream 2, which not only broke box office records of the time, but was also considered superior to the original by some critics. Scream 3 fared worse than its predecessors, both critically and financially, with many critics commenting that it had become the type of horror film it originally parodied in Scream and Scream 2, while others praised it for successfully completing the film trilogy. Scream 4 also received mixed reviews, with criticism mainly aimed at its use of horror cliches, although many considered it an improvement on Scream 3. The film series had been a recipient of many awards, including a Saturn Award for Best Actress, an MTV Movie Award for Best Female Performance for Campbell, and a Saturn Award for Best Horror Film for the first original Scream.
Side note, David Arquette also got some blockbuster awards for his role in Scream as well.
I wonder if the Blockbuster Awards still mean anything now that Blockbuster's not around.
Hey, he has them somewhere in his garage. So
I was gonna say, dude, if I was an actor and I won a Blockbuster Award, and then like it wasn't as high esteem at the time, and then I put them away, and then right when I hear that Blockbuster was getting closed down, I would put one on the shelf and go, I got one of those, and they don't do those anymore.
Yeah, I like to bring that up. Yeah, David Arquette won some Blockbuster awards for his role in Scream.
Nice.
I know all of this because I watched. I know all of this because I watched the David Arquette documentary that came out recently.
Yeah. Was he a wrestler before or after Scream?
Keep talking. I'll look up.
Yeah, because Scream came out in 1996, and I remember seeing David Arquette and him not looking that young
he was a
when he was
wrestler
wrestling.
after Scream because Ready to Rumble came out in 2000. Because that's what kind of kickstarted the whole entire thing for him with WCW and stuff like that.
What was Ready to Rumble?
2000.
No, what was it?
Oh, it was just a wrestling movie. David Arquette and his friend witness a kind of like their favorite wrestler get kicked out of WCW, and they try to bring him back.
That sounds pretty cool. Is that the documentary style movie where it's
Nope.
half doc, half real?
Nope. It's just all comedy.
Oh, nice. We can definitely check that one out. I think you have it on the list somewhere.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, slated for next month. Ooh.
Yes.
All right. Any more notes you'd like to add, Zachary, before we move on to the plot?
Nope. I brought up that David Arquette was supposed to be Billy, which is like I'm in some alternate world, David Arquette was the killer in Scream.
There are scenes where I want it to be him. Like, there's a scene where he's like just being creepy in one of the doorways, and I'm like, is this motherfucker Ghostface? Yeah. And then it's like, nah.
Well, also, like, let's bring out that David, that Dewey pretty much dies in every single film, but somehow lives.
He gets stabbed in the back in this film, and then you see him getting carted off away into an ambulance, and I'm like, nice.
He pretty much he gets fucked up in every single Scream movie and manages to live.
Well, I think that's a joke now. After like the first two, they're like, okay, let's make the other ones funny, and let's have him get smashed up, because he's in the fifth one. So,
yes.
Yo, what if he dies in the fifth one?
I will cry. I will actually cry tears.
He'll be the only one crying in a horror movie.
Yes.
Really crying for the wrong reasons.
Not Dewey.
No, Officer Dewey.
Like his I love talking about his role, since like it's interesting to see like what it was supposed to be, hearing from it, and now seeing what it was portrayed as.
Mm-hmm. It is cool to see, like, you know, David Arquette he's supposed to be like the dumb jock, and he ended up turning in a role that could have been easily small time beans into like big beans. You know what I mean?
Well, like, since going up by his words, I watched when it came up, he was like Wes Craven wanted him for Billy, and David Arquette said no, like that's not me. I can't. I don't see myself as him. But then when he was reading the script, he saw Dewey. He's like, that seems like a pretty fun role. I could do some fun stuff with that. Mm. And with Wes Craven being the awesome guy that he is, he was like, you know what? Okay, let's put. I'm giving you this role. Have fun with it.
Nice.
And we got a very iconic character.
I think we got other iconic characters in this as well, besides Neve not Casey Becker, Sidney Prescott. We got Stu. Stu is fantastic in this film. Dude, Matthew Lillard blows it out of the fucking park.
Yeah, see,
every scene he's in is the best scene in the film because he's just going crazy. He's got like that, and he sticks his tongue out like 8 times in the film. He's got, mom and dad are gonna kill me. Like, it's just so good. He's so good. And then Skeet is great as Billy. Billy Loomis, I feel like, is an underrated character in this film as well. Because he's suspicious from fucking day one. Right when that phone falls out of his pocket, I'm like, if you're the killer, you're a fucking idiot. Why didn't you ditch the fucking phone in the bushes and come back for it later, you
The only thing that kind of threw me off from him being the killer was the timing between Ghostface not being in Sidney's doorway and to him appearing at the window. That was the only thing that kind of threw me off.
Yeah, the time is really fast, but that's
then we realized that both Stu and Billy were...
Oh, yeah, no, it's both of them. So
yeah.
It makes sense on why. Because then they try to throw you that curveball.
That it's the dad, and I'm like, whoa!
No, they throw that curveball where Billy gets stabbed by Stu. And you're like, oh shit, it wasn't Billy, and then it's revealed to be Billy, and you're like, yeah, I fucking knew it.
or the red herring of it being the father.
Yeah. Dude, and then when Billy and Stu explain their plan onto why they were going to blame the dad and why it makes sense, I was like, these guys thought about this.
They watch horror movies. They watch all this.
Like, the disgruntled father, a year after the anniversary of his dead wife, goes on a killing rampage and kills a bunch of kids, and I'm like, that makes sense.
But why would he kill his daughter?
Have the dad's car. I don't know, murder, revenge porn, something? I don't know, who cares? You remind me of her. Stab, stab, stab.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, man.
The plot.
You want to get onto the plot?
Yeah. A high school student, Casey Becker, receives a flirty phone call from an unknown person during which they discuss horror movies. However, the caller turns sadistic and threatens her life. He reveals that her boyfriend, Steve, is being held hostage and demands she answers questions about horror films. After Casey gets one wrong, Steve is murdered. When Casey refuses to answer more questions, she is murdered by the masked killer. Her parents come home shortly after to find her corpse hanging from a tree.
Bum, 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 bum. Scream.
So, I actually like the questions he answered. He's like, who was the killer in Friday the 13th? And
he's like, Jason. And he's like, you're a fucking idiot.
Nope, it was Mrs. Voorhees.
Technically true.
I know, hey, wasn't wrong, but that's such a good, nod to anybody who knows movies.
Yeah, and it's also a good trick question.
Yes. Following that day, the news media descends on the town, and police investigation begins. Meanwhile, Sidney Prescott struggles with the impending first anniversary of her mother's... what was that?
Her mother's Maureen...
Okay, I thought that was supposed to be another word for a moment.
Oh, no,
My brain shut off.
They set this sentence up weird. Because we totally wrote this. Sorry, we wrote it wrong from Wikipedia. Yeah. It says impending first anniversary of her mother's murdered by former lover. It's her mother Maureen's death murdered by blah, blah, blah. It's structured weird.
Okay, sense. So I'm going to read off by the impending first anniversary of her mother's murder by her lover, Cotton Weavy. Or Weary.
Yeah.
While waiting at home for her friend,
her name is Tatum.
Tatum Riley.
Bad first name. Sorry.
Fucking Christ, these names.
I didn't know her name was Tatum. I just know she was related to Dewey.
While waiting for her friend Tatum, Sidney receives a threatening phone call. After she hangs up, she is being attacked by the killer, but manages to evade them. Sidney's boyfriend Billy arrives shortly after, but after he drops his cell phone, Sidney suspects him of making the call and flees. Billy is arrested, and Sidney spends the night at Tatum's house, which she receives another threatening call.
Bum, bum, bum.
God, this paragraph is fucking long.
That paragraph basically described the entire first act after the cold open. We see Sidney talking to her friends and about how Casey was killed. We get the introduction of all of her friends. We then see the first attack on Sidney's life, where Billy shows up at the end, and then Stu is involved in that one, and it's just cool to see. Plus, then the call that when she gets to Tatum's house, where Billy is arrested. There's a nice nod to this later on in the film, where he goes, "Oh no, I used my one phone call to call my dad," and he's like, "Yeah, but I didn't get an answer because someone else was calling his dad." But in reality, the phone call was to Sidney's house, to Tatum's house, to threaten everybody. And then Stu shows up in the costume. So it looks like Billy's innocent, because Billy couldn't have done it if he wasn't there, but Billy still did the phone call.
I want to talk about that scene, because after Billy hangs up the phone, you see Dewey pick up the phone and goes, "Hello? Who is this?" No answer.
I really... Dewey, he's great. He's great in this film.
Because the phone gets hung up. He goes, "Hello? No. Dewey. Buddy."
Hey man, he tried. He was just the deputy. He wasn't the captain yet. Still inexperienced. And he's only 25.
If you want to continue on for, I think the second half notes.
Yeah. The next day, Billy is released, and suspicion shifts to Sidney's father, Neil Prescott, as the calls have been traced to his phone, and also he wasn't in the hotel he said he was going to be staying at, and they couldn't find his car. We find out more about that later. School is suspended in the wake of the murders after the students have left the school. After we see someone try to attack Sidney in the bathroom after everyone's calling her crazy, we have Henry Winkler, who plays Principal Himbry, tell everybody that school's out until the investigation's over, just for everybody's safety. Stay home. There's a curfew in town. Don't go out. Yeah. So after that, the students leave, and the killer stabs Principal Himbry to death in his office, after we get to see a little cool Freddy Easter egg that we talked about prior.
Hey, there's nothing wrong, Fred.
Yeah.
I saw that. I was like, what?
You know what would have been great if they actually got Robert Englund to do it?
Oh my gosh, yes.
That would have been fucking oof. He'd be like, "What do you want, bitch?" So, Tatum's boyfriend, Stu Masher, who's played by Matthew Lillard, throws a party to celebrate the school's closure in his house up in a remote area of their town. The party is attended by Sidney, Tatum, their friend Randy Meeks, who works at the movie, who works at the video store. Us. Yeah, he's basically us. He knows too much about movies, and he's a little stupid. But it's okay. He's great. He doesn't die, so yay. And many other students. Reporter Gail Weathers then attends uninvited to cover the situation, as she expects the killer to strike. Gail Weathers is introduced when the media shows up, and that is Courteney Cox with her cameraman, who I forget the actor's name, but I think it's Frank is the character.
Who is also this is David Arquette's ex-wife too. This is how they met.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say Courteney Cox. I didn't know they were together or not.
Yes, they were. They were married up until Scream, I think 4. They got divorced.
Oof. Yep. Big sad. Oh no, she looks good in this film though. I was like, yes. Damn, Courteney Cox, you still got it, even though this was '96. But so she shows up. She then it's revealed that she's writing a book about the murder of Maureen and the frame job of Cotton, because she doesn't believe Cotton was the murderer, and we find out that's also true. Later on, it's part of Billy's plan, so that's super cool that we get to see, oh man, so technically, Sidney did convict a innocent man, and the book is going to be super popular because of those two things. So we see Sidney punch her in the face, and then we see her show up at the party with a camera to try to spy on everybody.
Yes.
Tatum's brother, Deputy Sheriff Dewey Riley, also looks out for the murderer at the party. The killer corners Tatum in the garage and murders her by crushing her neck with the garage door. She's so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
When I saw the cat door was there, I was like, she's going to try to fit through that. And then it doesn't come up for another 5 minutes because there's a little action scene where she's low-key flirting with the killer because she thinks it's Randy. And then the killer's like, no, I'm gonna stab you.
Yeah, wait,
So
hold
then
on.
they have a fight. That's where you hit her with the fridge door, and then she throws the fucking beer bottles at his dick in his face. Dude, and those bottles smash so hard. Are they, like, if I threw a bottle at you, it would not break. You would have a fucking concussion.
So, I want to bring this up. Now, not once, but twice does Randy get accused of being the murderer, but also gets flirted with by these two girls.
Yeah, right?
I'm so
flirts
confused.
them on the phone when she thinks Randy's on the phone, and I'm like, Randy's a low-key player, ain't he? Randy's obviously choice number 2 for both the girls.
She goes like, yeah, I like what you're doing with your voice, Randy. It's kind of sexy. And I'm like, I thought Randy was Billy for a moment because my brain shut off.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, then, and then then fucking Tatum is now thinking Ghostface is Randy. Huh.
Dude, they were one line away from having sex, I swear to God.
They were.
I was waiting for Tatum to just be like, all right, take the mask off, let's have sex. And I was like, oh my God. And it is known that Billy was the one who killed Tatum. Because Stu was attending the party with Randy, keeping everybody busy. This is where Billy sneaks in, drops the car off, and then Billy shows up after Tatum is murdered. And then Stu takes over once he goes, I'll be back, and he leaves. And I'm like, that's a cool line. Good for him.
I think Stu was a little bit like low key pissed that Billy killed Tatum.
Oh yeah, because she was hot.
Yeah, hence why he kind of stabbed him weird.
Yeah, there was a scene in during the scene where she's dying, she tries to like squeeze through the cat door, and I'm like, her butt is too big for that. She's not gonna make it.
God damn it.
I saw her going in. I was like, nah, she ain't making it, Chief. And then when he takes the door up, I was like, is she gonna get like, because it shows you her arm and her boobs are through the cat door / doggy door,
yeah.
And then her neck breaks, and I'm like, did she fall out a little bit, or were they just like, we technically can't cut someone in half because it's not that strong. It would just like hurt their back a lot. So we'll make it so her neck gets caught, and then she hangs there. And I'm like, that body would definitely have... her head would have ripped off and fallen, for sure.
Yeah.
There's like, no way. Where were we? Tatum's brother, blah, 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 corners her, crushing her neck with a garage door. Billy arrives to speak with Sidney privately, and the two ultimately consummate their relationship, while Dewey and Gale investigate a nearby abandoned car, where Dewey and Gale have strong sexual tension.
Very strong.
Many party attenders are drawn away after hearing news of Himbry's death, leaving only Sidney, Billy, a drunk Randy watching Halloween, Stu and Gale, and then the cameraman Kenny, who's sitting in the garage, who did not deserve to die. I was like, no, he's just eating Cheetos, minding his own business.
I want to imagine how much of like assholes these fucking kids are. Oh, yeah, our principal's dead,
and he's hanging from the football goalposts. I was like, what? If my principal died and his body was hanging from the goalposts, I'd be like, I don't want to fucking go back to school.
No,
it's fucked up. And they're like, let's go see his corpse. I'm like, what the actual god? I mean, it's a comedy, so it's supposed to be like, what the fuck? But like, come on, man. Super weird.
After having sex, Sidney and Billy are attacked by the killer, who
ostensibly
kills Billy. Sidney narrowly
corn
escapes
syrup,
from the house
baby.
and seeks help from Kenny, but the killer slashes his throat. Sidney then flees again. Gale and Dewey have discovered that the car belonging to Neil Prescott, Gale, returned to the house. They believe Neil is the killer and have come to the party to continue his spree. Gale tries to escape in her van, but drives off the road, avoiding hitting Sidney, and crashes. Can we imagine how the killer put Kenny's body on top of the fucking van?
Yeah, that was fucking hilarious. I was like, how did Stu at this point, get the body up there? I was like, Matthew Lillard does not look like a strong man, and Kenny was supposed to be a fat character. Like, he dragged his corpse, threw it on the hood, stood up more, threw it on top of the car, and hung it down.
Yeah.
Like, this man's got muscles. He does make one joke earlier in the film. He's like, I'll protect you guys. Look how ripped I am. And he flexes. And I'm like, you're wearing a sweatshirt. We cannot see your muscles.
Sidney and crashes. Meanwhile, Dewey is stabbed in the back while investigating in the house. And Sidney takes his gun. Stu and Randy appear and accuse each other of being the killer. Sidney retreats into the house where she finds Billy wounded but still alive. She gives Billy the gun and lets Randy into the house. Billy then shoots Randy. Billy reveals that he is he
faked his injuries.
He has faked his injuries, I'll say that.
Yeah.
And is actually the killer with Stu as his accomplice.
Hell fucking yeah, this is a cool reveal. Even though media already spoiled the shit out of this, it's just cool to see the reveal firsthand. And I do like the part where Kenny is watching the 30-second playback, like it's 30 seconds delayed, and you see you see Randy watching the movie and like, turn around, Jamie, you gotta turn around, he's right behind you. And we see Ghostface walk in, and then we hear something in the background, and that's when Stu as Ghostface leaves the room, and then we see it jumps to Kenny, who sees the thing, he's like, dude, holy shit, you gotta turn around. And then Sidney comes into the van. Then they watch Jamie Kennedy's character Randy survive, while Ghostface then chases them outside. That's when Kenny dies. And then we don't see Randy actually get attacked by Ghostface, but we know that he does get attacked because he shows up with blood on him and he's limping. And that was a bit of a red herring, a small bit, where Randy shows up and he's bleeding. I'm like, we didn't see him get slashed, so obviously something's going on.
He got the shit beat out of him by Gale.
Yeah, but he didn't get his fucking legs slashed up like that bad.
Well,
only
maybe she ran over his leg.
Maybe, but no, because we saw he got pushed back. But we can just say, yeah, sure, his leg got ran over, just for prosperity's sake, because it's weird to be like, oh, he just gets stabbed. Unless Ghostface stabs him, then runs away, changes out of his costume, Stu shows up untouched.
Yeah, clean.
That was the big one. I was like,
clean.
I was like, this motherfucker should have stabbed himself in the leg to make it look believable. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, but
they do later on stab themselves to prove that Neil was the killer and blah, blah, blah.
I love it though. Sidney goes, now fuck you too. And just closes the door on them.
She's like, fuck you both. And he's like, fuck. So, Billy and Stu discuss their plan to kill Sidney and frame the murder spree on her father, whom they have taken hostage. The pair reveal that they murdered her mother and framed Cotton for it, as she was having an affair with Billy's father, which drove his mother away. Gale, who survived the crash, intervenes, and Sidney takes advantage of this to turn the tables on the attackers, knocking out Billy and dropping a television set on Stu's head, which kills him. Okay, he does die. I didn't know if he was dead. Randy is revealed to be wounded but alive after he gets shot. And that bullet knocks him the fuck back, and he lands on a table and destroys it, and then collapses. I was like, Randy's invincible.
Hunter, a CRT fell on Stu's head. Do you forget how heavy and big those are?
Yeah, but he gets electrocuted, and then I was like, he could be fine after this.
Okay. You have to realize that there's glass and also electrocution. Pretty much, he had like shards of glass in his face, along with being electrocuted.
I don't know, man.
I
thought he was alive.
Fuck you.
Randy is revealed to be wounded yet alive, and he remarks that the killer always resurfaces for one last scare. Billy then awakens and attacks Sidney, but Gale shoots him. I think Sidney shoots him.
Yeah.
Here we go. Sidney takes the gun and shoots Billy in the head, killing him for good. There we go. They mixed up that, because after he gets up, Gale shoots him, and then Randy goes, there's always one last scare. The killer always comes back. He wakes up and goes, ha! And then fucking Sidney's like, nope, not on my movie. Which kills him for good.
A clean
As
shot
the sun rises and the police arrive, we see Dewey, who's badly injured, is taken away in an ambulance, and Gale makes an impromptu news report about the night's events. Then we see it pan up into the sky, and then a jump scare of Ghostface pops up for 2 seconds, and then rolls credits. That is Scream. Hell yeah, dude. This movie was really good.
Yes, this was really good. Hunter, do you want to say your review first? Because I when I saw it, I almost started laughing.
So, I'm giving my review 9 phones hitting Stu, you dick, out of 10.
I'm giving this 9 Dewey mustaches out of 10.
his mustache is like awesome but hilarious, right?
Yeah. Because
I fucking loved his mustache.
It's like a fucking child's mustache, pretty much.
Yeah, it's basically like, I'm the man of the house. I'm gonna grow a mustache, and it's just like pencil thin fucking baby shit. But it was funny. There's a scene in the movie where Dewey is talking to his chief. His chief is smoking, and he goes, "Oh, I thought you quit." And then there's a whole little scene with that. But Dewey gets ice cream, and the first scene, David Arquette licks it. He does not lick the ice cream. He puts it near his mouth and then pulls it away as it jump cuts to the chief, which means the editor didn't have a fast enough cut away from him licking it. And then Dewey eats ice cream like the weirdest fucking person. He licks it, but like he goes, eh, and then holds it back. I understand he has to talk, but they've done ice cream in movies where they're like, yeah, and this is what it was just weird. I was like, David Arquette does not know how to eat ice cream.
Yes. Okay.
You're like, I don't know how to react to that.
Yeah, I don't know how to react to this. But no, so I want to go back to Stu's death. A CRT. We had those.
I'm going to drop a CRTV on your head, you son of a bitch.
It would kill me. We had those in the gaming room at Suffolk.
I know.
We had to move those. Did you forget how heavy they were?
They are pretty heavy. I just didn't think it was going to kill him. Because when I was reading up on the film, it said that Matthew Lillard is in the franchise, and I thought that he came back in 2. Turns out, no, he dies. I thought he was, like, presumed dead, and then he comes back for revenge. That's what I thought.
What the hell? Do you want me to drop 100-pound weight on your head?
That's just me reading notes wrong, man.
I'll drop 100-pound weight on your head.
I'm gonna drop a 100-pound dick on your face if you don't shut the fuck up.
Yeah, so, Scream, like, I definitely enjoyed this, though.
Oh, yeah, no, the comedy was great, the writing was good, the camera stuff was awesome, the cold open with Drew Barrymore, like, the whole, like, red herring, she's the final girl thing was really cool to see, because no one did it before. The meta humor is great, it knows what it is, casting Henry Winkler is great just to kill him off, because he was, the Fonz.
Yeah.
So, it's just cool to see, like, all that kind of, like, meta stuff brought into this, of the first of its kind, because I love meta horror films.
Oh, yeah.
In our list, we have one more meta horror film. It's called The Babysitter.
I have yet to see
which
that.
Came out.
That's
it
on
was
Netflix,
really
right?
good. The sequel came out, Babysitter Killer Queen, which not as good. So I have mixed reviews on those, which we'll get to when we talk about The Babysitter. But The Babysitter's really good. I think you'll like it a lot, Zach. It is very meta, very meta. It knows what it is.
It's also
directed by McG, who did a horror movie. I just forget which one he did.
Also in
the Halloween ones.
Also in retrospect, after Spooktober, we'll be pretty much back to our regularly scheduled classic movie hour pick, and then a recent film as well.
Yeah, barely, and then we go into Christmas.
Yeah, and then we're back to our regularly scheduled program.
Yeah, until April.
Oh God, we start off
the
the new year with Baby Driver. God damn
dude.
it! I keep on forgetting
Hopefully,
we had that. Such a good movie, but fucking.
It's a great movie. It just sucks that the two main characters were not so great.
Fucking pedophiles.
But it's all good. Any closing remarks you have on Scream, Zachary?
I hope the 5th one is good. I will be buying this franchise in due time because I do want to watch it.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I really hope 5 is good.
Mine is. There he is. He's back.
Oh God! What? Was I dead on your end?
I didn't hear you when you were talking.
Okay,
yeah,
so I'm gonna repeat it.
I was like, "What's your favorite scary movie?"
I'm gonna repeat it. So I hope 5 is good.
Oh yeah, I want 5 to be fantastic because I've heard 2 is great. 3 and 4, besides what we read, I've heard from other people, like first-hand accounts, that they're not as good, but they say 4 is okay. So I'm excited to see all of them at some point. I'm probably gonna watch them, not for the show, just in general to watch, and then we'll eventually rewatch them later.
Hey, for me, so. I found a newfound appreciation for David Arquette, and if only I was allowed to have us just review his documentary that came out, I would do it, but we're not gonna do it.
I don't want to review documentaries because it's not. It's just like that's weird.
I get it.
Maybe on David Arquette's birthday, we'll talk about his documentary as like a bonus episode.
Okay, I'll look up that and I'll send it to you. Say, yo, his birthday is this day. All right, Hunter, hit us off.
Like, okay, we'll watch it.
With that outro.
So, thank you guys for listening. You can follow us on Instagram at Box Office Losers and Twitter at Box Losers for up-to-date news, mostly just whenever we post the podcast and any cool little bits and posters. This week, I was not able to really find a lot of new Mulan posters because there's only like 2. So I didn't want to like plague it down with too much fan art and stuff. I'll get more into that when we cover the original Mulan. But yeah. For Scream, I'm going to try to find all the great posters I can for Scream 1 and some cool little fan arts.
You also had to send me the thumbnail.
Yeah, stay on to that. I forgot I had to send that to you as well.
But hey, on a side note, hey, our Mulan review is doing pretty good. So thank you all for that.
It's because it came out in a relevant area where Mulan was like, oh, who's talking about this?
And coming off by our reviews, we are in the minority on that.
No, we're not.
A lot of people said it was a bad movie.
Oh, I thought you meant a lot of people were going to say it was a fantastic movie. I was like, I said it was okay. You said it was a 5, I said it was a 6. Only because I liked the combat. That's because I was on a big martial arts movie kick, watching Ip Man. So
yes, to close it out though, you can follow me though on Twitter at DarkShadowZake. Same thing on Instagram. I probably won't follow you back. I'll just allow you to see my stuff because I'm like that. You can also see me every now and then on the sports hit list, mostly on the wrestling program. And yeah, where can they find you, Hunter?
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Scruffy Mooseman. I also made a TikTok because I hate myself. You can follow me at Scruffy Mooseman as well.
You appeared on my For You page, so I was like, oh.
You're like, whoa, it's this dude. I know him. Yeah, I want to get used to myself on camera and get used to my voice. And I hear that Vine/TikTok, because Vine's dead now, it was a good source for a lot of people who are overcoming that kind of anxiety. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll jump on that. I'll try to post one video a day where I do something stupid.
And hell, also follow me on TikTok at DarkShadowZake. I'll set that up too. I have one, but it's just at Zack, I think.
At Zack. Nice. You got the at of just your name.
I think
you can also follow my other podcasts that I do Tuesdays, which was yesterday when we filmed this. I have a PlayStation podcast called Pound That Button. We talked about exclusivity deals in gaming. Today, which is Wednesday when we record, my comic book podcast, Android's Amazing Podcast, that I do through the comic book store I work at, Android's Amazing Comics. We talked about conspiracy theories, and then next week we're going to be talking about villains, because we're going to do like a horror-y, kind of like Villains Month for our podcast for October. So definitely check out those 2 podcasts, and of course check out Box Office Losers on Apple. Do not forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share with a friend. Please, 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 and check us out on YouTube, because I always forget we have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, you forget, but yet I edit the videos. I edit the audio.
Yeah, I just know we have all the other stuff because I do the uploading on Anchor.
Yes.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Keep being a loser. I don't know. We need a catchphrase.
I'll be right back.
You see, you push the laws and you end up dead.